Welcome to packing for a 5.5 week trip across Asia, which I am leaving for tomorrow evening. And I need to pack my camera gear. I'm hitting Singapore, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Japan. All that aside, when you actually see this video, due to the upload schedule, or when I'm going to set this to release, I think at that point I should be in Tokyo for like the last few days of the trip. So when you see this, the trip will be already over. First off, let's go through the bags. First off, we have my Temba DNA Messenger 13 DSLR. This has been a great bag. I've had this bag for like 3+ years now. It's great for travel. It's a really good size for kind of a day bag. You can easily fit, nice big full frame mirrorless in here, second camera, film camera. I've got this little fall cam clip on the side to lock a camera in when I'm walking about. Get food in here. You can get lots of filters and stuff in the front. And it's just a great day bag. These two bags stacked on top of each other will fit in an overhead compartment, so you don't take up any extra space and people don't get mad at you. So the second bag here, which is the big backpack, is the Temba Axis V2 24 litre. This is a good size. It lets me pack a good amount of gear without being overwhelming. And then over here we have the Suitcase, where we have a dark bag. That's for film emergencies. I always bring a dark bag. It also acts as padding. And then, because I'm going to Japan, I'm bringing my duffel bag. This is used to put my clothes in when I'm coming back. So I put my clothes in there and all the stuff I want to buy, gifts and things and souvenirs and more cameras, let's be honest, and lenses and crap. It all ends up in here. And the duffel bag can be used for excess clothes and can be checked in as a separate piece of baggage. First thing I'm going to bring up is my tripod. This is the Ulanzi Tree Root tripod. This replaced my Peak Design travel tripod, which I lost a few years ago in Tokyo. I left it down on a side street, came back the next night, like 24 hours later, because I didn't notice it was missing. I was away that day and it was just gone. But hasn't let me down once. Real nice size, real sturdy, really good ball head, which I like because you can adjust the stiffness, easy to set up. Has safety pins so your camera won't fall out, whether they're Arca or the F38 system I use. And it just locks in, cannot go anywhere, like it's absolutely solid. And then you just release it and it just pops out. The F38 system, one of the reasons I like it so much is because the tripod plates have these like anti-twist pins you can use. And by using this in the locator hole for the battery grip, means that this can't untwist itself and unscrew when you're walking around, which is really nice. Of course, I'm bringing the Z8 because it's my best camera and it's amazing. 45 megapixels, full frame, 8K video, RAW, the works. Even though I shoot N-Log when I'm traveling because otherwise I'm going to fill all my hard drives. And the lens I'm bringing is the 24-120 f4s. Great lens, works well. Been with me for over 2 years, that camera has now, and lens, and it's never missed a beat. My PF 300mm f4 Nikkor. This is an f-mount lens. The reason I'm bringing this is because part of the trip is going to be in Hokkaido for 2 weeks. And there's lots of wildlife in Hokkaido, particularly in the national parks I'm visiting. And then I'm also bringing the teleconverter. This is the 1.4 version 3. So I can put that on the lens, gain a little extra reach when I need to. As for more lenses, I'm going to bring a fast prime. This is my trusty 35mm f1.8, although I'll probably replace this with a Z-mount version when I get to Tokyo. But this is on the F2Z2. This is for a walk around at night in the city. Then of course I have my 24mm tilt shift lens. I absolutely adore this thing. I use this all the goddamn time when I'm traveling. Cityscapes, landscapes, architecture. It just delivers every time I travel with it. So there's many times when I was in Hong Kong before and Taiwan where I was doing cityscapes and having a tilt shift lens would have been heavenly, which is why when I got to the Tokyo part of that trip 2 years ago, or yeah, over 2 years ago now, I bought one of these lenses immediately and used it for the rest of the trip. So this is coming with me. Now the question is, what film camera do I want to bring? Because I'm going to bring a film camera. And I'm wondering, do I bring the Hasselblad? Because the Hasselblad is amazing. And when you combine it with the 40mm lens that I have working now, like the wide angle images you could get on this will just be incredible. But the problem is, even with this lens, right, it's going to take up this entire section of the bag. It's going to end up being duplicates images or film duplicates of what I'm going to be doing digitally. The film images won't be anything special. There won't be walk around shots because the Hasselblad will have to set it all up and do things. Now ideally what I'd have is a Hasselblad SWC, which is a much more compact camera, and that would be easy. You just pop in there or something and be done with it. And I'd easily bring that around and you could walk around with it and shoot your shots. If I bring the 40 and don't bring the 80, I won't take up too much space, but then you've got weight issues. But anytime I shoot medium format film abroad, I always really enjoy the images, but they take a long time to process, they take a long time to scan, when I could just shoot digital. And I'm bringing digital, so I'm just going to be able to shoot them on that and be done with it. Because if I don't bring this, instead, I will bring the Z6 full spectrum, which I can do full aerochrome on because I've got a special K515 filter that Colorivision made me. Do I bring the full spectrum and a Pentax 17, which I've borrowed, which is coming with me as well? It's going to be a walk around, camera. So I'm going to shoot film regardless. And they can slip in super slim. I can bring another lens or two. Hell, I could bring the Z6 I'm filming this on with me easily here, Z6. I'd have 4 bodies. Yeah, it's a little excessive, which, okay, it absolutely is. But I'd have good video in the Z6. But then, of course, I have to bring things like, the Pocket 3 for filming, because I want to make YouTube videos on there. I want to bring my Osmo Action. You've got filters for this. You've got filters for the Action. I've got timecode generators I want to use. I've got my timecode system. I'm wearing a DAD-PR2 as on my microphone recorder right now, and I have the timecode system mounted on the Z6. Also, the fact that when I get to Tokyo, I'm buying a ZR, and I'm going to be using it for the trip, and the Z6 III will be sold actually. Not in Tokyo, I'll sell that here. Got loads of filters here. I've got this these Format high-tech filters that I've adapted into the Case Armor magnetic filter system, which is really nice. Adapted my Format high-tech filters to use we've got the magnetic frame on the Firecrest filters here. And I've always wanted to bring grad filters when I'm traveling, because so many times I've ended up where I couldn't do the shots. I end up doing bracketing or multi-exposure, or I want to do kind of cool tricks where you darken the city so you can get more of the night sky exposed and the city is better balanced. Always too much gear and never enough space. Another thing I need to bring with me is the Tri-Charge. This holds 3 Nikon batteries. It lets you charge them all up at once. Has spaces for memory cards, and you charge them all up with USB-C. Really handy. You can just take the batteries out. And it has an output allowing you to use this as a battery bank, which I have actually used on planes before. Now we also have this. This is my card reader. This is the Freewell Pro version, the 10 gigabit. Has a built-in USB-C cable. Has slots for CF Express Type B, Type A, SD, micro SD, and it holds a bunch of cards and my SIM card out of my phone, so I don't get charged €3,000 by having my SIM card on my phone by accident, and a SIM removal tool. Action 4 for video. We got the best vlogging camera ever made, the Pocket 3. This thing is just absolutely incredible. It never lets me down. I've used it so much. It's absolutely scuffed though, because I keep dropping it. If you want to film yourself while traveling, you're going to need various mounting hardware solutions. So this is all this crap. So first up, we got a suction cup with a NATO rail. All these have NATO rails for the arm, so you just clamp this on a window and you can mount your camera to it and film yourself. Very useful for driving, lets you get really good driving shots. The big clamp. So this allows me to clamp to railings kind of just anywhere. This thing has saved my bacon more times than I can count. Lots of places don't like, particularly viewpoints and observatories in buildings and cities. Tokyo's fierce for this, where they don't have tripods, but you can use the clamp. That'll pop on here. Lock it down. I could bolt it straight together, but I didn't. And now we've got a very solid camera mount. And it'll easily hold a camera, the Z8. For the action cameras and the Pocket 3, everything's mounted using the Falcam F22 quick release system. This has a NATO on the other side, so this will clamp onto NATO things. So we've got this little gripper here, little clamp for getting a third person shot, mounting the camera somewhere else. Our Hawk Lock system by Smol Rig, they're NATO compatible, so you just put it on and clamp it down and it works just fine. But they have locating pins, which is why I use them, so they can't unscrew themselves. This is magnetic and foldable. So if you're going to have like a railing or something like that, you can just kind of clamp it onto a railing like so, or onto a corner, and it'll hold magnetically. And it's a really strong magnet, so it works really well. And I've used this a good bit, really great bit of kit. We also have my battery bank. This is the Blade Basis. The reason I use this one is because its form factor is really nice. Really great for fitting in the seat compartment in front of you, so you can charge your tablet or whatever when you're traveling. Charger brick, this is a big one. I've used this for years now. It has 4 outputs with 100 watt power delivery. But the nice thing I like about this one is that it has a detachable C13 connection, so I can buy a US style or Japanese style plug it in, and now it's compatible in Japan. I found this very useful cable. This is a USB-A to 4 USB-C connection I managed to find. Now only one is data, but they all charge like 10 watts. So when you're charging up all your like time code boxes, your headphones, your earbuds, you know, all the little small things, you can just plug them all in here and charge them all up simultaneously. So really useful for that. For traveling around, so most of the stuff ends up in the check-in suitcase. But this is where the magic happens when you're traveling. This is a multi-port adapter. So it can plug into a UK plug, US plug, and an EU plug. And then on the back, it has all the same plugs as well. So you can plug anything you like into it. But what makes this really special is the fact that it's also a 70 watt charger. So if you're going through any airport in the world, you can bring this with you, plug it in anywhere. Also, when you're on a plane, oftentimes planes will have this type of plug underneath the seat nowadays. So you can charge up your devices. But a problem with that is you need to plug in a charger. Now, what I used to do was use this American charger, but this would imagine this is the plug under the plane. This would you bump it, it would just fall out onto the floor, device stops charging, pain in the ass. But with this, you just use the UK plug, which is glorious and tough and well designed and actually stays in the damn socket. So you can plug this into the seat underneath and you're set for your flight. And then we get to a more esoteric device that is something that I've traveled with now a few times and I can't live without it. And that is a travel router. So what this MacGuffin is a miniature router that's powered by USB-C, so you can run it off your power brick. And what this allows you to do is allows you to set up your own Wi-Fi network in the hotel, and in a lot of cases bypass that stupid captive portal. And then you don't have to deal with all of that and setting up devices and putting in Wi-Fi passwords and getting your tablet on it or your laptop and then your phone. And then so how this works is you plug it in, you power it on, and then if there is an Ethernet connection in the room, you just plug it into the WAN port, job done. It'll just use the Ethernet. And a lot of Asian hotel rooms will have an Ethernet port. Although sometimes they won't. A lot of hotel rooms though will have one running to either a Wi-Fi point in the room, which you can just unplug it from their Wi-Fi and plug it into yours, job done. Times will be an Ethernet cable running to the telly in the room, and then you can just unplug it from the TV, plug it in here. Sometimes that works, it depends on how the network's configured, but most of the time you get internet access that way. I travel with this little flat Ethernet cable, so I can plug this in if there's a socket. Sometimes it's a lead, sometimes it's a socket. So I bring a little flat Ethernet cable with me. And if it's a wire going to the telly or whatever, I bring one of these like Ethernet joiner thingies, because you know, I can plug that in here, plug it in here, and then plug this into the telly or whatever, just in case I need it. So very useful little gadget. But not only can this plug to Ethernet, it can relay Wi-Fi. So you can go into the dashboard on this, and then you can connect this to the hotel Wi-Fi. So you only have to connect to it once. And it also only shows up as one device, because some hotels will be like, oh, one device is free, but 2 devices cost you money. You can also, with your USB 3 port here on the back, connect it to your phone and use your phone's data as a tether and have your own Wi-Fi that way. The real magic of this travel router though is the fact that this has VPN support. So you can connect up your VPN to this and put in your details. And then if your hotel Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy or you think the security isn't great, you can just use a VPN and VPN your traffic anywhere from this, and all the devices will share that VPN together. But where it gets really cool is the fact that I have a VPN router downstairs, it's actually GLINet as well, with a VPN WireGuard server set up with dynamic DNS. And then if I do this on here, toggle that switch on, when this is turned on, it will automatically connect to my home router and access the internet through that. So with this, I can access my home local network and all my servers and storage and NASs from anywhere on the planet. It's such a useful device. Once you get used to traveling on one of these, you'll never be able to travel without it. And it's just awesome. So yeah, travel router, very handy. You know, a little flashlight that I use, very, very convenient for when you're out and about, going up to like sunrise spots in the dark. Airfly for the plane to communicate with the headphones. Bose Quiet Comfort 45s. amazing wireless headphones. I use these on the plane, noise cancelling. Can't travel without them. I'm at the point now, if I forgot these, I'd buy a new pair in the airport. Got my earbuds, Bose Quiet Comfort 2s, work great. Lastly, I'm bringing my Minisform V3 tablet. I prefer using a tablet over a laptop, so USB 4.0 ports, so 40 gigabits. So when I'm backing up every day's data, you know, all the cameras, all the photos. So when I'm traveling, I back up everything to 2 SSDs, and this is the Crucial X9. These are both 4 terabytes. I back everything up to this, and then I make a duplicate on this. And when I'm traveling about, this stays with me in my bag. This stays in the hotel room, so that if one gets nicked, I always have a backup of all my files and I don't lose anything from the trip. Because of these, is why I like these 40 gigabit ports, because you can actually back up and copy data and do a bunch of stuff all at once, and it's very useful having these super fast ports. My last tablet was limited to like 5 gigabits and it took ages and it was painful. So also great for watching movies on the plane, which of course I've loaded up a bunch of films. That's all my travel gear. Quite a lot. Some very useful stuff though that I've refined over a lot of trips. But yeah, this is my whole kit for a couple of weeks. And now I have to go and finish packing because I have to leave tomorrow.